It's WarpZone. It's Monday.
Episode 8.
Episode 8 already. I'm EJ.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Phil.
Yeah, so episode 8, we made it, guys. Wow.
We're longer than a British TV series now.
We've made it. So first off, I was out, Sean was out, Phil, he led the way last week with Caleb and John. So nice job. Loved the discussion and heard you guys talking about some things.
Talking about you, EJ.
All the time. It's fine. And it's always
I
my
didn't
fault.
watch, so I'm sure you talked about me.
Oh yeah, you were a name drop for sure, Sean.
John definitely did it.
See how your name was dragged.
So I guess a little catch up on what everybody's doing. Let's see. We were first going to talk about what everyone's playing. So Phil, we'll start with you. What you playing?
So I'm back in 2007, I guess you'd say. I'm playing Wii Sports, but it's been remade as Switch Sports. Because the Switch has this thing, Nintendo's got this thing where it's got to remake everything it's ever done for Switch. So now they've made their way to Wii Sports, which was the big fad back in the day. You had people throwing your controllers and hitting the TV, like people knocking each other out with the motion controllers, and that fun is back. No one's going to be doing that anymore. These little Switch controllers you're using are tiny. They're not going to hurt anybody as much as those beasts. Like, they back in the day with Wii Sports, they had to add those like little they had the wrist straps, and you had the little like padding they added to those. Like, I don't know if you guys played Wii Sports. Am I alone on this? Did you guys play that back in the day?
Back in the day, yes, definitely. We hold on 1 second. Yeah, definitely from back in the day. I played bowling, loved bowling. The tennis one almost broke my TV with tennis. I think everybody pretty much did.
That was the struggle back then, and everybody played. Like grandmas played, like little kids. That was probably the problem. That's probably why there was so much misuse. Now we'll see if it's back. I don't think the Switch has that. It's kind of a niche console. You don't see like sweeping throughout every household like you would have back with the Wii days. But this is a fun game. There needed to be a new good Switch game to play, and this is something you can gather with friends and family. Like, you can play volleyball. They've got all the old games back, like golf and those, and it's very multiplayer oriented as far as online multiplayer, which you didn't have back with the old Wii Sports. And I think there was even a Wii U remake that had a little bit of an online component. No one played the Wii U, no one played that game, but here we are with a Switch. And if you're looking for something, it gets you a little bit active maybe, but you can also be lazy and kind of just barely move your controllers. But I'm into this. I'm liking it. I think it's going to be the big new hit on the Switch, even if it is very basic.
Okay, all right. So Sean, let's see. What are you playing?
Oh, I've been playing Genshin Impact for the past year. I hate myself for it. It is anybody who knows it as Breath of the Wild, but with waifus. It's not a good game necessarily, but it's fun and it keeps dragging me in. And I think part of it is that it's a loot box kind of game. You want to get the characters that you like. The gameplay is competent. It's fun. They're constantly updating the game, so there's a lot to do. But to that point, there's so much wrong with it, and I don't know why I keep playing it. The plot sucks. Everything plot related you can just skip through. There are hours of dialogue that mean nothing. You'll walk into a side quest and the guy will just be like, I want you to get me a radish. But he's going to tell you his whole life story and then explain why the radish means more to him than anything else in his life. It's basically like every time you go into a side quest, it's like reading a book of the Bible. It hurts sometimes. So I don't know. I don't know why I keep playing it other than the fact it's Breath of the Wild with waifus. It's anime Breath of the Wild, and Breath of the Wild was already anime Breath of the Wild. So I don't know, but I just keep playing it. And they have a new update coming out, and there's a character I really want. So I'm grinding because I need those loot boxes.
Go get those radishes, Sean. Good for you with your love of veggies.
Yeah.
I'm a very healthy person.
I will say that, like, comparing it to Breath of the Wild actually makes me not want to play. I know my husband has told me that he like really kind of wants to get into it, and I'm like, No, because Breath of the Wild, like we didn't even finish that. I don't know. Phil, Sean, did you guys finish that game?
No, by no means. That game is way too intimidating. I don't see what it takes. I don't have what it takes to finish it. And the people who do, like, I'm in awe of, because how do you figure out what to do in that game? Like, it's too much cooking, too much crafting. It's too open ended, and I need point A to point B experience need to be told what to do.
Genshin isn't necessarily entirely like that. It doesn't have the physics stuff or anything. It has the movement kind of thing where you have a stamina meter. You can climb on anything. It makes no sense how these characters are able to climb everything in like 8-inch heels, but
Don't underestimate it, Sean. Okay.
yeah,
It's possible.
the biggest hurdle for me is that once you get a new character, as you play the game, you level up the world and you level up all the enemies. And once you get a new character, they start at level 1. So you need to grind and grind to level up your character to be able to actually play that character in your world. And generally that means you have to go fight these bosses you need to have a friend to help you fight. You need to get all of these materials that only reload every 48 hours. So it's a struggle. But something about it just keeps digging into me.
How much money have you dumped into this game, Sean? It sounds like
we don't talk about this on stream. Not a lot. I actually I've probably put like $25. There's a monthly pass that's like $5, and every day it gives you 90 primo gems, which you need 160 primo gems to unlock a loot box essentially. That's the only money I'll put in, and I'm okay putting like $5 a month into it because it's a lot of, I'm getting tens and hundreds of hours of gameplay for free basically out of it. So I'm okay giving the money, but I'm not a whale, as they call the people who will just put hundreds and thousands of dollars into it just for their character.
And you can stop if it ever it gets to be too much of you not playing it. You're just like, you're not getting my $5 this month. You'll be done for sure.
Yeah. So I
AJ,
guess, yeah.
What made you cry?
Oh, so I've been playing Forbidden West. I took a little break from it because I got like super annoyed with it, but I came back to it, and spoiler on this one, because honestly, it's I don't know, if I would have like heard ahead of time about this, probably wouldn't have like played anything. I think I would have like stopped like caring about this game. But I'll say this: at Forbidden West, you have the character. His name is Varl. He was in the first game. He grew on me as a character. I loved his relationship with Aloy, the main person in the game. But I will say that I absolutely cried when he died. He died. They were trying to get Gaia, who is like Mother Earth, so to speak. They were trying to get her to expand her power and everything. And ooh, sorry, I hear feedback there. But they were trying to get in this I guess chamber that was there, and the bad people came, killed Varl, and basically it was just kind of a shocker. I cried probably 3 different times because not only did he die, and he was a very important person in the game, at least for me, but you also learn like you have a funeral for him, which is really sad, and you get to like sit out and like watch the sunset and the sunrise, because that was like him and his girl's like favorite thing to do. Then you find out that his girl was pregnant, and I'm like, I can't handle this emotional like trauma that's happening right now. So that's why I would say that I cried, is because I was not expecting it to, I guess, be that emotional for me. Again, like from other reviews, the review that I wrote, I was not sold on this game. Beautiful game, don't get me wrong. I'm still like 100% behind it. I think I have the last battle left to do. But it's still like, I don't know, that one part of it actually got me in my feels, and I was like, okay, this game's not so bad. Still glitchy. I mean, I don't remember what patch we're on right now, maybe like patch 11, but I swear, guys, there's still glitches in this. And I'm like, guys, after 11 patches, you still can't get this game right. Like it's beyond absurd. I was trying to do one of the quests and I got stuck. So I had to keep loading back over and over to make sure that I could like actually get out of where I was stuck. And that's another reason why I quit. It's just so many glitches that were happening. And which I thought they would fix. And I actually went back to one of the my breaking point from like 2 breaking points ago of that I got stuck somewhere because like once you die after trying to defeat what's called the Tide Ripper, it's basically like this huge leviathan. Once you die, it reloads you outside of the map. And when I tried to go back and do this, like after so many patches, I think I did this for like patch 10. I still ended up spawning right outside the map. And I was like, okay, this was like one thing that a lot of people were saying that was a problem. You said in your patch notes, Guerrilla Games, and that this was fixed. It's not fixed. And so had another little like breakdown. I was like, I'm done with this game, but I'm still glad that I'm continuing it. After this battle though, Sean, I'm going to get on the Elden Ring train. So I don't know where you are on that game.
Oh, I haven't touched it. And once Lego Star Wars came out, Elden Ring got thrown aside.
He's retired as champion. But yeah, Lego Star Wars is still great. I'm still playing that one too. By the way, though, EJ, it's fun to make fun of you for crying in that game. But I mean, you're kind of bringing me back. I have no idea what you're talking about as far as your quests, your characters, any of that. However, I do emotionally relate to it because to me, gaming gets you more emotional than any other entertainment medium. Like, I don't know that I've cried in a game, but I've definitely been close to it. There have been stories because you buy into the characters a lot more than you would in a movie. You feel like you are those characters at times. Definitely anger is the emotion that games get out of me more than anything, even more than sports, being an Arizona Cardinals fan. Like despair, anger, just the feeling of being unable to get past a certain part, that can really stir it up in me. And then on the opposite of that, once you are able to accomplish something, like let's go back to Elden Ring for a little bit, just the joy and adulation of beating something, accomplishing an impossible task. Gaming can give you the joy that you definitely don't feel that in a movie, and not even in sports, I'm saying. So like that's gaming just manipulates you emotionally like more than any other type of entertainment can.
And
Ron, have you cried? Have you cried during a game?
Yeah.
Have I?
Yeah.
Oh man. Metal Gear Solid, the whole series kind of got me through. I don't know that I cried, but Metal Gear Solid
almost got me. The only one I've ever beaten. I almost cried during the end of that game.
Yeah, 4 or 5, 3 had some moments. I mean, and again, that's Metal Gear Solid is basically playing an anime, or it's cutscene. Everyone knows it's nothing but cutscenes. So it plays into that anime aesthetic, where anime does a really good job, as you pointed out a couple weeks ago with Jujutsu Kaisen, just the first episode. It does a really good job with dealing with emotions and like that side of things. And Metal Gear Solid is one of those. It's like those characters and all the events that happen. It does such a good job of playing into the emotions and making you really feel for those characters.
And then you laugh at yourself afterwards when you're talking about these absurd things that Kojima has just put you through. And then you're like, wait, what? That got me emotional, but it truly does at the time. It's magical.
When I lived in Illinois, I would drive with my dad back and forth between Chicago and St. Louis, and we would have discussions where I would spend 2 hours of the drive trying to describe Metal Gear Solid's plot to him. Never worked. Always failed. He's always like, why giant robots? Why can't you just, drive a nuke and then shoot the nuke? It's like, because the robots are cooler.
Yeah. I know that for this
Speaking of emotion, yeah. Twilight, Sean. Sean went through the full plate.
I watched all 5 in a week. It was
painful. Hit it real hard.
How was that?
How was it? So the first movie,
no one else has watched those in this decade, so you're the only one. Like
I'm probably one of the only human beings who hasn't seen a Twilight movie all the way through. The first one though was surprisingly pretty good. I mean, it wasn't good, but it was like entertaining good. Like I would watch it again. It was
Okay.
fun for what it is. Finally watches what?
Yeah, finally
Well,
watching.
finally. But after the first one, it's like every movie I was wondering what's the point. It was just like wheels spinning. You finally get to Breaking Dawn Part 1, and she finally marries Edward. Is that a spoiler? I don't know.
Wow, spoilers.
She has. I know. I ruined it
The
for
spoiler
everyone.
I
Sorry.
want before you go on is what team are you? Are you Team Edward?
Yeah,
Team
Team
Jacob?
Edward.
Oh,
Team
I'm
Yeah.
Team Edward
Did
all
it
the way.
change? Did it change, or did you stick with your guy?
No. Jacob is a creep. Jacob is a weirdo. He forced himself on her, which was real uncomfortable. The part where he's like, that baby's gonna be my wife, that was totally uncomfortable.
That's the low point
So-
for not only Twilight, but basically all of literature and all of cinema, where you just talk
But
about
okay, so you say that Jacob's uncomfortable in those situations, but what about like Edward? Like every uncomfortable situation that was like with Edward, like Belle was like, oh, I
Edward
love
doesn't
this.
force himself on her, he just stares at her. And I think it's hilarious when he just stares at her. He's like Ryan Gosling in Drive, you know?
Gosh.
And Drive, Ryan Gosling, the only thing he does in that movie is kill some people and stare at his neighbor the whole movie.
And
I
more
love that movie
specifically,
to death.
Sean, he's like Mike in 90 Day Before the 90 Days, where he's
He's an
accused of
owl.
what? Of just looking at his fiancée to be all through the night, like staring at her. Like she complains that he stares at her like an owl. That to me brings an Edward moment back to me.
Yeah, and I mean it was creepy when he shows up in the bedroom, but it wasn't as creepy as Jacob was just like weird, and I don't understand. I am told by my girlfriend who had me watch it that the books explain the Jacob Edward relationship, that whole thing, a lot better, and explain how Bella still likes Jacob, because the movie doesn't seem like it really. She just seems like on a whim. She's like, "Oh, I love Jacob." Why? For me, the lowest point of these movies, though, wasn't Jacob with the baby. I knew that was coming, so I guess I was ready for it. It was the final fight, where I was so into it. There was so much great violence. It was so entertaining. To me, I was sitting there like, oh my God, they killed Carlisle. Oh my God, they killed all these characters. Wow, that was pretty intense for like, you know, a teenage girl kind of. And then they're just like, oh no, it's just a vision. It didn't actually happen.
Yeah.
What? So I watched 15 minutes, and that whole 15 minutes, I was like, wow, this is great. Stephanie Meyer has finally redeemed herself. And then they go and like Deus Ex Machina it.
Yep.
Why? Why even include it? What was the point of the entire movie? Like you can't go 5 movies and at the very end be like, here's the big fight, and then go, oh yeah, no, it didn't actually happen. What?
Yeah.
So the real reason to watch these, I know this isn't necessarily your reason, but the best reason, in my opinion, to watch Twilight's right now are to build up toward the Batman. We've got our new Batman. It is Edward. What Batman-like qualities do you see building up in this guy as he goes through these films? Like, do you think he goes on a journey that leads him into the true emo character, most emo character of all time, who is Batman himself?
Oh man, Edward is perfect. Like you watch this, and it's weird to say because everyone points out. First of all, I want to say everyone points out, oh, Edward's not. He's so lame because he's a sparkly vampire, which I didn't really mind. Whatever, it didn't. It was weird, but it's like it was kind of different. I guess I don't know that I've ever seen like the vampire sparkle, and then the fact that they're made out of marble or whatever it is, where they can just like shatter. Anyway, I didn't mind any of that. But anyway, Edward is so emo. That first movie, he's so clingy and weird. Like you could say, you know, the way what Bruce Wayne is with his parents, where he's just like obsessed with his dead parents. You could put Bella there and Edward there, and it's kind of the same thing. I mentioned to you, Phil.
He earns it. Because I'm like you, Sean.
Well, I was gonna say, I mentioned to you the scene where Edward, it shows him in the 1930s, and he's in that movie theater, and he's like going after. There's a guy who's looks like he's up to no good with a woman, and he goes after that guy and just kills him. And that was straight. I was like, this is Batman. That was a straight up a Batman scene.
Yeah, that's true Batman right there.
I actually forgot about that.
That's probably his best moment as a human being, or as an undead being, right there.
Before
But-
that was actually foreshadowing the Batman.
Yeah, yeah, but you could tell throughout the movies too. I haven't seen Batman yet. I will watch it. I swear, it's on HBO. I
It's on
just need to
HBO
set it. I need to carve
Max.
out 3 hours. I didn't have it this weekend. I swear I will someday. I'll watch it. But I am sure he's a much better actor now in Batman. I don't even think that he was a bad actor in Twilight. I mean, he's open about how much he hates Twilight. So you can tell how little effort he puts into so much of it. You can see when he's dating Kristen Stewart, you can see the chemistry there, and you can see that they really are doing a good job. But most of the time, you just see how horrible he just doesn't care. And I think that actually kind of makes Edward the character a lot better because he's just so apathetic to everything. It's just like Robert Pattinson to Twilight.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
what a year it is for both him, both main stars of Twilight. They can finally break out of those roles. Like Kristen Stewart's not always going to be Bella Swan anymore. Now she's got an Oscar nomination as Princess Diana. And then you can't just call him Edward anymore. You can't call Pattinson Edward because he's Batman now. Like they've broken the shackles. Like I don't think we're ever going to see that from the Harry Potter crew. They're always going to be those people. But good for the Twilight cast for transcending those roles that could have just haunted them their whole lives.
Mm-hmm.
I think for Taylor Lautner though, still for me, he hasn't broken that mold. He's still Jacob.
Always going to be. Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
chance.
He tried a couple movies after Twilight, and none of them were any. He's like Hayden Christensen after Star Wars, where
Oh gosh.
you get a couple mid-budget like theater-ready movies, but otherwise you're going straight to the like $10 straight to DVD Walmart film industry.
I hate to say it, but like for Taylor Lautner, when it came to like Shark Boy, I think he had more like going for him as Shark Boy than he did like for Twilight. So, and I didn't really like him as Shark Boy either, but you know,
It was a thankless role as Jacob because how are you gonna play Jacob and have everyone not be creeped out by you? I don't think there's any way to do it the way it's written. It's a loser's game to be Jacob, and he took it on, and he probably sacrificed the rest of his career for it. So
also
tribute to Jacob.
with that too, like I think he's like pretty active on TikTok and stuff. Just learned that his name's not like Jake. What is it? Taylor What is it? Lautner. So it's not Lautner like everybody else has said it. So like
it's like Zach Baggins and Zach Bagans. It's really Bagans. Okay.
Yeah. So he's literally trying to like recreate his whole like, oh, I'm not Taylor Lautner. I'm Taylor Lautner. I don't even remember how you pronounce his name, but I'm like, whatever. I really wish you would have like taken on the whole TikTok role, Sean, with watching Twilight, because there's like different people who I follow, and it's like this woman's like following her husband's journey of like watching, and he has so many reactions. So I can just imagine that, like, you know, if you had that, like, should have gotten your girlfriend to like record you with all the reactions of constantly pausing.
When we watched, to be fair, when we watched the last one, I was not sober. So that whole fight sequence, when that was over, I was. It's like when you're watching football and your favorite team, they kick the field goal, but they hit the post.
Oh gosh.
it was like that, you know. Things were thrown.
Well, you know, I can see that though. I can definitely see that. No. But I don't know, Phil, how are you? Did you see them as they came out? Or
Yeah, I did. I reviewed them. That's how old I am. I actually reviewed those films, each of them, one by one as they came out. And I didn't like any of them. I couldn't to me, like I gasped internally when Sean said he would watch the first one again, because I can't imagine ever just voluntarily watching that first movie again, or any of them. The moment that hit me the lowest was when they played chess in the finale. I'm like, okay, guys,
oh yeah,
what are we doing here? No more chess. This is not right. But like, to me, like, I wasn't the target audience for this. I don't think they were executed well. The books, I understand, or people say that they're better written than the films. I don't know. I'm never going to find that out for myself. But yeah, like, to me, they are relevant again. And Sean's, you know, I'm glad that Sean took it for the team and like went through them film by film. To me, that's a true academic right there. Just fighting that good fight for us all. because
Yeah.
now we know what the relevance is or irrelevance. But I have to say I was more of a Team Jacob guy to start with, and then I was a Team Nobody. I was hoping she would choose no one, but and it also disgusted me what happens to her at the end. I don't think it's like a good ending to become a vampire. I think it's kind of gross and weird. But to me, she kind of
That
lost.
whole scene was disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What about you, AJ? What team were you?
I was Team Jacob, so I had a friend who actually looked like Taylor Lautner. And so just out of, obligatory, I'm your friend, I guess I'm going to be Team Jacob. I still wish I'm still Team Jacob to this day, even though I know that she ended up marrying Edward. But at the same time, I just still think it's really creepy. I'll go as far as saying the whole thing with the baby was kind of creepy. No, it was creepy, not kind of. But I didn't get on the Twilight train because again, I was too cool. I was too hipster for everything like that. Growing up in high school. So while everybody was on the train, I don't think I jumped on like watching Twilight in any of the movies until Breaking Dawn Part 1. And then I binged Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, and then Breaking Dawn Part 1. And then sadly, when the second part came out, I was like, okay, I got to see this through. This is just a train wreck, and I can't turn away. So
the creepiest part, and I just remember this, is when Jacob walks up to Edward and just goes, "So do I call you Dad now?"
Oh.
And the kid is only like 6. The kid's only existed for 6 months, but I guess vampires just like grow up super fast, which is kind of creepy again.
Yeah.
To Phil's point though, and that was an interesting point. The whole her becoming a vampire. One of the interesting things in the early part or the early movies was the fact that he wasn't going to turn her, and that they'd have to deal with the fact that she's mortal, he's immortal, and that could have been a really like. They had a moment where it showed, I think it was like a dream where Bella was elderly and he was still young. They could have done something with that could have been like emotionally resonant or something.
Nice
and
little
there
Harold
other
and
series
Maude,
that did
actually.
that. And
it would have been good.
That,
she had a lot of opportunities she just wasted.
Yeah, I was going to say that was like the opportunities, and that would involve creativity and whatnot. But I guess Stephanie Meyer and all the people who wrote this movie were like, no, we're going to throw that out the window.
Stephanie Meyer, I think, was just going for the romance stuff because there's a lot of interest. She has a lot of interesting stuff in this world. The Volturi, whatever they're called, like the vampire cops people. That was, I don't know why they were brought into anything because they were interesting, but they didn't do anything.
I think those were actually the good guys. For me, they were the good guys. I rooted for them, and I still do.
I mean, young Dakota Fanning over like the whole Volturi thing, I was like, oh, okay. So if they had a spinoff with just them and like we get to find out the inner workings of who they are, I actually would probably be interested in that. Not so much anything else related to we're gonna see, Edward and Bella and Jake.
But it's like if Harry Potter, Ron, and Hermione were the most boring people on the planet, and all you wanted to see were the teachers. That's kind of what Twilight is.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, at least Harry Potter, I don't like Harry Potter, but at least all the characters, for the most part, are interesting, and I like them. But Twilight is just like, all I care about are these side characters. I cared about Bella's dad more than I did anything with the main cast.
Oh, Charlie. Yes.
Yeah, he took the toughest loss. What happens when your daughter becomes a vampire? You got to look at yourself in the mirror as a parent and say, okay, where did I go wrong? How did this happen?
I mean, he was already drinking himself to death. I don't know what happened after.
Yeah, poor Charlie. But I don't know. There's if you ever get a chance, Sean, you should go because Lionsgate actually has their TikTok account, and they actually make fun of just everything Twilight, and they're pretty savage on themselves. So that's actually a pretty funny account to go check out.
Or I could just watch the classic Vampires Suck.
Oh gosh.
So good. I love that movie. Twilight is worth existing for having laid the groundwork for Vampires Suck, which is unapologetically a really good satire, really funny. I would watch that again for sure.
Are you talking about that movie or Morbius?
Both.
Oh dang. Still haven't seen Morbius though, actually. So I don't think I'm missing much.
Yeah,
I was about to say for Phil, I think I'm not.
It's very Batman, very emo, very Batman. There's a lot of bats in the movie. He is a Batman, so to speak. But yeah, you're into that, maybe you'll see some correlations.
Okay. Okay. Not bad. Well, I think we did pretty good with talking about just Twilight. So thanks, Sean, for taking one for the team, like Phil said.
Oh, that's anytime. What do you want me to watch next? Neil Breen movies? I don't care.
Gosh. Just watch
Surprise
Batman.
us,
How about
Sean.
you just
Surprise
watch
us.
Batman?
Please do.
Just watch Batman, because we still need to talk about that with you.
Well,
Batman's
the new
really
season of
Twilight
Ghost in the
6.
Shell-
Just
It's Twilight 6. I will try and watch it, but the new season of Ghost in the Shell drops on Netflix this weekend, and I've waited 2 years for it. So
Oh, that's true. It's true. I've been watching Spy Family, so cute little anime if you want to see it too.
amazing.
So,
Spy X
yeah.
Fam, watch it. It's so good. Manga's amazing.
Yeah.
Anya is the best daughter.
Oh, I love Anya. She's so great. Phil, if you want to get into one that just like somewhat started, I would definitely look at this.
all right.
So,
Put on that
yeah.
list.
Cool. Awesome. Well, that's all we got for us. I'm EJ.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Phil.
Thanks for watching, guys.